So I thought Jaxson Dart looked good. 12 and 19. I thought he moved really well. And I think when you look at the New York Giants schedule, with an easy schedule, maybe they could be a 9 and 8 team. I've argued they're a quarterback away. I like the offensive coach. I like the left tackle. They got a number one weapon. I like their defensive line. I like the Giants. I think the Giants are a great example, like Indianapolis Colts. If they had a great quarterback, they'd be a really, really good football team and a playoff team. Their schedule's brutal, and they don't know who quarterback is. But watching Jaxson Dart, my takeaway is, I know it's preseason, but everything is something, nothing's everything. He looked pretty good. Number one, this is not a Super Bowl team. This is about discovering what Jaxson Dart is. Because next year's quarterback class out of college is great. It's really good. And we know what Russell Wilson is. Russell Wilson left Denver, and they got better with a rookie quarterback and made the playoffs. And Russell Wilson went to Pittsburgh, and they weren't any better than the Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett team. I know what Russell is. And if you promised him a start in week 1 against Washington, by all means, give it to him. But we know what Russell is at this point. Like, we know what it is. We don't know what Jaxson Dart is. And so, and I don't want to hear this. Well, I mean, you don't want to put him out there to be a piñata. Stop. The Giants have a great left tackle, and I think their own line over the last 2 years, they've upgraded it. Number 2, they have a couple of really interesting young running backs. Number 3 is they have a number 1 receiver. Number 4 is this isn't like the tone-deaf offense of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Brian Daboll got Daniel Jones to the playoffs. Okay, I don't want to hear if you like Brian Daboll. He got Daniel Jones to the playoffs. He can coach. So we got an offensive coach, a great left tackle, a number 1 weapon. Running backs are interesting. O-line is not a disaster. He's not going to take a beating. Plus, the kid can move. And here's the other thing. He got 41 college starts with Lane Kiffin in the best defensive conference in college football, the one Jaden Daniels came from. And Lane Kiffin has coached in the NFL and could absolutely be a head coach in the NFL again if he wanted to. Lane is a really good offensive coach. If you get 41 starts in the best defensive conference with NFL receivers and you play with NFL guys and against NFL guys, you're ready to play in college.
Yeah. This is so interesting to me because there's a lot to unpack here. And he didn't say what he said because Colin had his podcast with John Middlecoff where he talked about that he would start Jaxson Dart more because he would say they're not going to succeed. And then they can say, hey, we gave Jaxson Dart a try and now we're going to draft a quarterback because it's like supposed to be a very big, deep quarterback draft next season that there should be, next year that there should be just a lot of quarterbacks that people are really excited about, apparently better than Jaxson Dart. And they'll just then move on from Jaxson Dart. And that it would be harder for them to do that if they don't play him because then they would have to admit that it was a bad pick or something. So, that's what I thought he was going to say. But, again, check that out on his personal podcast, on YouTube. It was with him and John Middlecoff. That's what Colin was saying. But now he's like, hey, Jaxson Dart can play, and Lane Kiffin and Brian Daboll. And so I'm a little kind of like, what's the take here? But my take was, I was higher on Jaxson Dart coming into this draft. I was. I had him above Shedeur Sanders. Before that was the cool thing to do, or the controversial thing to do, whichever way you look at it. Then I cooled off a little bit on Jaxson Dart, mainly because it was reported that Sean McVay liked Jaxson Dart, or that they were thinking about it, but then they didn't. And then that's when I was kind of like, well, Sean McVay knows more about quarterback evaluation than I do, and I was like, I trust Sean McVay. If Sean McVay is passing on Jaxson Dart, then I'm like, gives me a little bit of pause. But who really knows? He could have just made a strategic move and said, listen, we still got Stafford. I'm going for a Super Bowl this year. And we got the draft capital. We can go out and get our quarterback next year. There's no reason to take someone like Jaxson Dart right now that it actually, from a betting perspective, your odds of still getting a great quarterback next year and still being able to worry about this year right now and kind of set yourself up you're kind of good to go. So you could make that argument that it was less about just a strategic move rather than about Jaxson Dart as the football player himself. But what I liked about Jaxson Dart, and again, this is just preseason, and so I want to really be consistent because this is how I've been talking about Shador, Jaxson Dart now. Like, it's just, we just all got to put it in perspective here. But what I really liked about both Jaxson Dart and Shador Sanders, for that matter, really was their confidence. Really was their confidence. And when I say their confidence, it really is pretty binary. Like, it's just, do you look comfortable out there? And there's plenty of people that don't look comfortable, right? There's players that have been playing for a few years in the NFL, and like, they don't quite look comfortable. Like, you could just see it. AR does not look, with the Colts, does not look comfortable. Daniel Jones, New York Giants fans will know this. Like, there are endless games where you're like, Daniel Jones does not look comfortable. The dude doesn't look comfortable in his own body. And it's like, it's not just like a confidence. It's not this superficial confidence. I can take the moment. Like, that's not what I mean. It's, are you seeing the field? Are you seeing the games? Are you seeing the plays? Like, are the defense, are things sped up for you? Like, I don't mean it as in like, oh, you're afraid of the moment when I say confidence and comfortableness. Like, it's definitely just this eye test that you kind of see it or you don't, right? And again, it's not this like, I believe in myself. Like, I can't emphasize that enough. Spencer Rattler had some nice plays last year, some nice little drives and some nice moments. I think the main game that I'm thinking of right now was against the Bucks, if memory serves me correctly. But he never looked comfortable. The game was happening too fast. It was too sped up. There was a lot going on, and it was just kind of like, and I always find that interesting because there's plenty of quarterbacks who can do some like pretty nice plays, pretty great plays. But like, other stuff is just kind of a mess. It's why we see backup quarterbacks. It's always fascinating to me that you see legitimate backup quarterbacks like have moments, have drives where you're like, whoa, that dude is balling. That dude is wheeling and dealing. But like, he's obviously not good enough to be like even a starter, and yet he's doing plays that clearly starters do. And I just always find that fascinating. And so for a preseason game, it's like I try to just zoom in so much, which is, you might get sick of me saying because we've just been talking so much about these preseason games, and especially now a rookie quarterback, first year player, and I'm just like, how comfortable does he look right now? Is he comfortable? And the way he moved in the pocket, even there was moments when the pocket started to squeeze on him a little bit and get a little congested, like, there was no panic. There was no, it just, again, he just was comfortable. Like, the moment and the game wasn't too big for him. He looked like he was in his comfort zone. And I really appreciate that. And again, I appreciate that about Shador Sanders. And to me, it's like, that is more interesting to me than 12 for 19, 154 yards and touchdown. Like, that's all well and good. That is, it's certainly better than going 6 for 14 and 35 yards and an interception. Like, no doubt about it. But it's just a bottom line box score. I just can't emphasize this enough. Means so little to me in a preseason game. But I liked the types of throws that he was making. I mean, he had one beautiful throw. I wish I could cue it up for you. Where it was a beautiful deep ball, beautiful anticipation, beautiful touch. I mean, like, it was just a perfect timing. Like, it was just completely in rhythm. And I believe in Brian Daboll as a great coach, too. I think Brian Daboll has been a great coach. And the Giants would be foolish to fire him. Because I was already trying to do the math of if they did fire him, like, he would not get a head coaching job right away. He would have to be an offensive coordinator. And I was like, if you're the Bills, like, go out and try to get Daboll maybe again. Or, if Cliff Kingsbury goes out and gets a head coaching job, like, Commanders, go get Daboll. If who the Eagles hired, like, go get Daboll. Like, he would be like the number one OC that you would be hunting for. And you have him as a head coach. And the Giants have obviously not done a very good job of supporting this, this team right now. They haven't done a great job, but they are building something. And, this is something that I've also I've known it, but I don't think I've commented enough on it. And I don't think I appreciate it enough, is that when you're like a team of the Giants, like, it is rough to have them try now. Like, right, you're going into the season and you're like, we got Jameis Winston, we got Russell Wilson, and last year we got Cutlets, and we got Daniel Jones, and you're just like, yeah, hooray. And then the Cleveland Browns are like, we got Flacco, we got Kenny Pickett, we got Dylan Gabriel, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like what are we doing? And now you have a young quarterback, Jaxson Dart, Shador, whatever, and has a really successful preseason game. And you're just kind of just like, I'd rather watch this than anything else. If my team's going to fail, I'd rather be with this new guy. I want to see what they got. Do I really think that Russell Wilson is going to have this storybook ending where he's going to lead this Giants team to a Super Bowl? Like, if you don't believe that, well, then it's like, then don't play him. And it's like, what's the point then? I want to see something new. I want to see something interesting. I want to see something that can inspire me for the future of my team. But this is where Brian Daboll has to have the power. This is the trickiest thing. Same thing with Stefanski. Like, it's very similar situations in a lot of ways. You gotta have you if you're the owner, the whoever's going to really make these decisions, and sometimes it's the owner, sometimes it's a little inner circle of people that we just don't 100% know about. But if you got to make the decision in a lot of ways from my viewpoint this year. Am I keeping someone like Daboll? Am I keeping him, or am I firing him? Because if I believe that he's a great coach, I want him to coach like he's a great coach rather than he's coaching to save his job. If you think someone like Jaxson Dart needs to sit for a year or sit for the first 6 weeks, 7 weeks, which I don't love to do. I like to keep it pretty binary. You either sit him for the whole season or not. Again, I know it's unfun to do, especially if you don't have a competitive team. But like if that's what your head coach believes, and like, listen, this kid could be great. I really want to develop him. I want him to sit behind a year for Russell Wilson. It's going to be rough. We're maybe not going to get into the playoffs and whatnot, but like, this is really what I want to do. This is what I believe in. And then in year 2, we can really get after it. And the benefits are, we'll get a little bit higher of a draft, whatever it may be. You do that. But if you put the pressure on a Daboll and you're like, hey man, yeah, they better have a successful year. Otherwise we're gone. You're gone. Get out of here. You start to make decisions that you normally wouldn't make, right? It's like going on a first date and being like wildly nervous. Just doesn't go very well. And I would just want to put that control and power into Daboll and be like, I would have this conversation if I believed in Daboll, which I do, especially because if you fire him, it's just like, I don't know exactly who I would be hiring right now. It's like, who's really available? And I would go to him and say, listen, I want you to look at this team as if you're on a 3-year plan. And depending on how honest you want to be, you could be like, listen, I don't know if you're going to be here for 3 years. I would like you to at least be here until next year. But I want you to coach this team like it's a 3-year plan, 2-year plan, if we want to be have a little bit tighter parameters around it. I want you to start the quarterback and make the decisions for the best of this team and the timeline. Not exactly 100% immediately today and not 100% in the future. Like, just what's the timeline here? What's the plan? How can you maximize this team to finally being a great contender over these next 2-3 years? That's what I always talk about. I put teams on like a 2 to 3 year timeline. I'm just like, where are we at? And if this is the new Jaxson Dart timeline, the new Jaxson Dart era, it's like, okay, how do we want to go about this? Right? We don't want to rush this. We don't want to do something that we don't need to do. If you think starting him is the right move, then let's do it. If not, then don't. I don't need to hear any generic, oh, he was with Lane Kiffin, 22 years. That doesn't mean anything to me. It really doesn't. Well, he played really well in a preseason. Great, don't care. Like, it's just, what's the story? How do you feel? Do you think we can win a lot of games with Russ? Do you want to be able to, do you think that you can run a smoother offense with Russ because he's a seasoned veteran? Like, let's talk this out. What's the play here? Is there a lot that Jaxson Dart could learn from watching Russ? Tell me exactly, if Russ starts and Jaxson Dart sits, what exactly will Jaxson Dart gain? And how much time are you going to spend with Jaxson Dart developing him over this year 1? Like, give me that information. I'd have a real conversation about what is the game plan, what's the timeline. Not this just generic, oh, he got 40 starts in college. He's ready, let's do it. We drafted him. And if it doesn't work, we're going to draft a quarterback in next year. Like, that's what Colin's take was. I just, but I understand why you're gonna feel that pressure and why you're gonna feel that excitement. Because again, if you're the New York Giants, if you're a New York Giants fan and you've been watching these games over these last few years, you're like, this has been this has been awful for years now. Like years and years and years. You kind of had like a feeling of like, oh, maybe Daniel Jones, like this is interesting. Like, and obviously that did not pan out very well. It's been messy O-line, messy weapons for a while, messy defense for a while. The team was just a mess, no matter kind of where you looked at it. It's slowly getting better. They're slowly rebuilding. They're slowly got some nice little pieces. And if you have a bad quarterback, you're always a quarterback away from being significantly better. I mean, like that's hardly, it's hardly a very bold take. But I do think also when you have a bad quarterback, it becomes impossible to evaluate a team. I mean, it's just brutal to evaluate how great or how good a team is, even a coach. I mean, that's the kind of the point. Brian Daboll, I think, is a great offensive mind. This team has been such a mess, and you start to question, like, is he a good coach? Is he? And you're like, yeah, I think if you give him the right quarterback, a quarterback who can play, a quarterback who can, just do what he's asking you to do, then sure. Absolutely. I mean, things got dicey when Daboll left Josh Allen. And you were just kind of like, man, his best years were with Brian Daboll. Now Brady finally got there, and they're having some success. But, coaching matters. So, yeah, I see the energy there. And I see if Russ struggles a little bit or it just doesn't look great. Even if it's just, like, pretty good. They're 2-2. And I'm not going based off of their exact schedule because I know even if they ended up going 3-2 or 3-1 or 2-2, like it could be like some pretty nice wins against I think they played like the Chiefs early on. I forget when they played the Eagles. We can take a look at the schedule, I guess, right now. Where are we at? Yeah, I mean, I guess if you go 2-2, that means you probably beat at least two pretty decent teams, and you're either beating two great AFC teams, the Chiefs and the Chargers, or you're going to maybe beat two division rivals or 1-1. So that's where it's going to be interesting because the schedule, those first 4 weeks are fascinating. The first 6 weeks. I mean, even I don't believe that the Cowboys are going to be this great, fantastic team. It's still a divisional game. It's still on the road. It's still Dallas. It's still something. So you're going to get probably some break with the Saints. But those 5 of those first 6 games are pretty brutal, even just from a narrative perspective. Russell Wilson loses to the Commanders, loses to the Cowboys, loses to the Eagles. You're like, you just went 0-3 in the division, right? Like those are division rivals. You lose to the Chiefs. You're just like, we're not, we're so far away from here's the team that's been the gold standard, can't keep up with them, right? Like it's a tricky one. And then if you lose to a team like the Saints, or if you lose to the Cowboys, like we're not even better than the Cowboys right now. What are we doing here? Like you can justify losing to the Eagles, you can justify losing to the Commanders, but like you start losing to the Cowboys and the Saints, and you're just like, what's the point? What's the point? But again, as unpopular as this stuff is, it's like, I don't know, man. You have a messy season here. Ends up maybe potentially being positive. Like I know you made some trades and stuff, but it still has the domino effect in 2026. It could still be beneficial, but I wouldn't blame a lot of Giants fans for wanting to start and wanting to just really dart the party, as it says at the bottom of the screen. Just like I don't blame the Cleveland Browns fans for being like, let's do it. Let's start the Shador party. I don't want to see Flacco. I don't want to see Kenny Pickett. I need some excitement. I need something new. I need some action here. And the New York Giants definitely have that. And if Jaxson Dart is a legitimately good quarterback and a legitimate first-round quarterback, better believe you link him up with Brian Daboll, give him a weapon or two, and some defensive stops. They're going to win some games. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the New York Giants? Do you think Jaxson Dart should start week 1 over Russ? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. It's whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.